Okay, the prompt has come up on your screen. Just go ahead and hit continue because I'm going to record this in case you need to revisit later and possibly for people who missed this Lunch and Learn. So welcome to Divide and Conquer. Whew, you're going to be preparing more online resources than you ever have. So if you would like to share some of that workload, then you're able to go ahead and take advantage of sharing that out with other people. I just want to get a few more screens ready for us. Okay, there we are. Now then, I would like to point out a resource that I came across recently and yesterday. She had added another page to it. So those who are participating live, I emailed this link to you. Those who record this or watch this at a later date, I'll have that linked in the video description. But she has a divide and conquer slide. So this is Nadine Gilkison, and she's just highlighting or calling out areas like sharing a drive, or you're doing shared drive, and it can be a folder, it can be a place where you invite someone. I see she also called out creating a Google Classroom only with your team, and that's how we're going to get started. And maybe you have a Google Sheets calendar template where things lay out and you can see them in a timeline like a calendar. So we're going to talk about these type of things. For those of you who are starting to use Canvas, on slide 8, she also has divide and conquer related to Canvas. So I'm going to move forward and start talking about that idea. You're going to want to maybe work with your grade level. If you are a grade level teacher, now some of you are going to say, but I'm an only. There is no one else like me. I'm all on my own. I can't divide the workload. Well, I'll come to you in a moment, but some ideas I have for this school year is pick the items to go online that can be done online, meaning you're going to start looking at your curriculum differently and ask yourself, all right, what do I have to absolutely do in person? What is difficult or impossible to do online? And you're not going to put those things possibly in your Google Classroom or your learning management system like Moodle or Canvas. You're going to look then at the things that you can do online, that you can share with other people. And those are going to go into possibly a classroom bank. So a bank would let you have, and I want to be sure we have this bank here. It would allow you to store everything. Now, the concept is this: you go and create a new classroom. You can title it whatever you like. And you need to invite your other co-teachers, whether they're in your same subject or possibly they are in your same grade level. So only one person has to do this, possibly your team lead. You would go to the People tab and then you would start inviting teachers. So you'd add them. So they will get an invitation. So you click invite and now they have an email. And if they have email notifications on for invites, they will get that. So now you will all have the same level of access. So what about this class? It's just an empty shell. And this is where I'm going to start needing some of your feedback. You're going to start building the shell with the materials that are easily delivered online and organize them. The way you build your bank, the organization might be different than how you actually deliver material and content this year. So let me go to an example so you kind of can get a vibe for where I'm going. So I'm going to go to this class called Remote Learning here. And on the classwork page, this teacher has decided to organize by a week. So this is a way to organize. This is called a topic in Google Classroom. And now the materials for the entire week are listed below that topic. And I want you guys to notice something here on the left. Students can filter by a topic, so they can make that appear more expanded and only display one topic at a time. So the conversation is going to be with your bank. How do you decide what to choose? What will your topics be? Because they're probably not going to be based on a week. Or here's another example here from my daughter's teacher. They are probably not going to be topics in your bank titled by a day. So she chose each day. And I felt as a parent, this was very easy to consume. You knew exactly what to do on what day. So a bank, you don't want those timestamps, whether it's a day or a week. So here are some ideas for you. Possibly think about creating your bank based on material, or if you're at the upper levels in the middle school, high school, you may actually be able to stay more in line with the topics you would put in your actual classroom. The bank might say Unit 1. And then for those upper level teachers, it's possible that your live classroom says Unit 1. So I'm going to pause there. This is where I need your feedback. Do we have anybody already creating a bank? And if so, what kind of topics are you using? Okay, I'm looking at the chat, so you can open up the chat to read this, and I'll read it to everyone as well. Melissa Abrams is giving us the answer that I have an assignment bank with chapter headings. Very nice. So those would be chapters out of her textbooks. She is a high school teacher. Okay, and Kendra, also at the upper level. She's sort of lost on the bank idea. First time of Google Classroom was during COVID. Okay. So the idea is you're just simply creating an empty class. No students are going to enroll in this class. It's just for you and possibly your administrator, or, you know, if you had another teacher working with you, you could invite them. And this is just a place where you start stockpiling your resources. Topics are how you can start organizing your stockpile. So I didn't want to just start throwing materials in here willy-nilly. I wanted to decide, what will I do to organize them? Jennifer Marr, she has a shared drive. We're going to talk about shared drives at the end for general, for your grade level. That's good. And Brooke has not made a bank yet. Yeah, okay, so maybe for Brooke, she's suggesting unit headings for math, science, and social studies. Okay, so Kendra's catching on with the idea of this bank. And Alicia, her kindergarten team had a bank with different content areas. Okay, so if you're a grade level and you cover every subject, sure, throw everything into math, science, writing, reading, and then they even divided. This is great. This is what we're talking about here today. Cover an area and dropped your lesson in there to then place on your own Google Classroom. So it looked like Alicia was the math teacher, and everybody then could access that resource from Alicia to put into their own Google Classroom where the students were enrolled. Very nice. Okay, Jennifer Marr suggesting to do it by standard in our chat. Okay. So no one has come on the microphone to talk, but I experienced that as a parent, and my daughter did too, that her first grade teachers, one did all the video recordings for Haggerty, one did for a week, and then it was somebody else for a week. They also divided their read alouds. So here's something to think about. Those of you at the primary levels, if you're going to start dividing your workload, well, how are you going to divide? So really, this is going to be a team approach. Who is talented in video recording? Who might have abilities to do certain jobs or create certain material? Someone's a whiz in PowerPoint or Google Slides. So go for it. You're the one who's going to be making the presentations, and then you throw those materials into the bank for everybody to share. So this is my first grade bank with just examples, and I have categories like resource websites, training materials, electronic worksheets, and so on. So when the school year starts, I'm going to go ahead to my class where students will enroll. So I'll go to this one. This is my class. I have students who are enrolled and waiting to join. So this is the second Google Classroom I build, and this is the one I use to draw items from the bank. So on my classwork page, for my first week of school, if I need to add something, I'm going to go ahead and click on Create, and then I go down and I'm going to pick Reuse Post. So Reuse Post lets me reach out of this class into my bank. And so if there was something I wanted, I could grab this one and I could reuse it. So that's the purpose of the bank, is somebody can draw out of it and into their own course. The ability of sharing that with other people lets you divide the workload, and you will be able to benefit all of you. It lets you have a chance to change the title if you need to adjust instructions. And maybe this doesn't go to everyone. You're differentiating and it's only going to go to certain students in your class. Change the points. Now you would establish a new due date, because this is being delivered out fresh if you're using due dates. And you can pick a time as well. So then I would click Assign, and this would appear in my, oh, I failed. I did one thing wrong. I forgot to pick a topic. So let me make sure that, where did that go? Usually when you forget to pick a topic is, let me redo this one. So, would you eat soup from crickets? And it's possible that if this was already, there we go, it went into this topic, into September 28th to October 2nd. And so I could go trace that one back down, but I do want to point something out. Since I made that mistake, it's a good opportunity for me to point out. If you have different topics in your bank, or like what Kendra is going to refer to it as, into your fake class. So if you have your items in the fake class, you're going to repost them. And let's say topics are by unit, but your live class with the enrolled kids, that's going to be daily. And so topic is today, July 16th. If you don't change that topic, it's going to pull in a topic from your bank. So make sure that you don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure you have the right topic. So I don't want to repost that one. I want to come down to where it really showed up. There we go. There's my second. this was where I had posted it originally, and this is the one I did just now. And so there we go. We have it actually in here twice. Now, how do you guys feel about the bank idea? Because I don't need to beat this horse too long. If you open up your participants panel, you will see some icons. So if you understand banks, go ahead and give me a green circle yes in our participants panel. So Bonnie's on track, Brooke, okay, Karina, Jackie, Jennifer, Julie, all right, Mary, Melissa, looking good, everybody. And both Michelle's, we have a green check. Nicole, Paul gave us a green check. Sharon and Sandra, all right. Now, some of those who haven't responded, I want to be sure I don't let you guys slip through the cracks. So I'm going to call you out. You can go ahead and just type in the chat too, if you're okay. Peggy and Vicky, Nicole, Blazer and Neil, Kendra and Elise. I'm calling you guys out just to see. Okay. And where are you looking for that? You'll look on your toolbar and there's a pair of heads and shoulders. It says the number 25 to the right, and that's where you click participants and it'll pop up. And these little nonverbals appear across the bottom of the names. Okay, so Vicky
Rebecca,
came back.
I lost connection for a minute, so I kind of missed it. I'm going to have to review it later.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. So Peggy's getting there, all right. And I'm hoping Kendra's okay is meaning that she is okay. Kendra has a question for everybody. Do you usually make your topics by the week, or do you put like homework and quizzes? Now, I want to let the group answer before I give you my answer. So in our chat, Jennifer is answering by week. Julie Varner has done topics with homework, answer keys, notes, and online resources. And for this year, by chapter might be better. And Julie, I'm there with you. That was kind of my answer, that if we were in class with kids daily, my topics would be totally different than if they're going to potentially be remote. So chapter, unit, those might be better. And Brooke is giving us that parent perspective. Parents liked it by the week. Vicky, so she's done subjects, subject assignment. Alicia's doing daily. I, as a parent, appreciated the daily. And what's really neat that if you schedule those materials in your live class where the kids are enrolled, that parent will not see that topic until at least one item has been posted. So you could stage this as long as you're scheduling all your resources, and it was 7 o'clock every morning, my phone would blow up with notifications. Ding, ding, ding. These items were posted, so I knew I had Thursday's work. Okay, so let's see, Melissa's responding. In the past, for her bank and classes, she had used chapter headings. This year, she's gonna try organize by week. And so Michelle, she did by subject. First year using it, okay. So she thinks she'll do it by week. Okay, so I think we have enough feedback there. That's wonderful, everybody. Thanks for doing that. So, yeah, and I think we, are gonna have a mixture of kids remote, or, what about the day that they're not in, or for 2 weeks? That they're just being quarantined, they're not really sick, and they still want to do their work. So you have to consider the potential of some of those kids being in both places. What would work the most effectively? So we're going to end talking about Google Classroom, and I have a video to share with you guys. You don't watch it now, but I don't think I shared, maybe I did, yeah, I shared this in a message to everyone that this morning that will talk about how you share a Google form. So just kind of let that sit in the chat for a moment. Let's talk about Google Forms because they are different than all the other Google applications when you want to share. So here I have a form on screen and I'm going to share actually just the link in our chat. So everybody, if you want to escape your screen and you would like to go ahead and answer the questions. So here's what I need to do is give you guys the link. So in my send button, I have this link to the form for you to complete this. So I have that copied now and I'm going to put it in the chat. So anybody who wants to participate, go ahead and answer the questions in this form. And we are going to have the urge to hit the doors running this school year. And my plea is start out slow. And when you have the students in your building, we need to start establishing those relationships, that foundation, so they get to know who you are and you want to know who they are. So this was just a few questions I used to introduce yourselves, and that way we could have students beginning to learn who you are. You can learn their behaviors because this is a whole new batch of kids to you, especially those grade level teachers. And when I have a few more responses here, if I can get anybody in our group to respond, oh good. So now we have 5. What happens often is people accidentally share this the wrong way. So I want to show you the right way so you don't accidentally share your original form with those responses. So look, our responses are going up, and you guys could be just giving me anonymous fun data. It didn't have to be a serious response. So what do you miss most about the old school? So I had a few responses in here already, but these are your real answers: interacting with students and coworkers, in-person collaboration. You got it, the people part of this. So we just went normalcy. Thank you guys. So we're collecting those, but I want to be sure I share this form the right way. And I don't want to accidentally give it out to my co-teachers because again, we're trying to divide the workload. And so if I want to do that and give them my introduction form, here's how I have to go about it. Now, I'm going to go over to these 3 dots. I'm going to go down to click Add Collaborators. In the video I put in our chat, it goes over this. Just the only issue is this summer, sharing has updated. And so what you would do next is go down to the bottom where it says Get Link. Now this is normally restricted. Usually, if I click on Change, the setting you will see when you first come here is going to say restricted. Now you're going to change that from restricted to anyone with the link. Okay, now that's all, nothing else. You're going to go ahead and copy that link. There we go. I clicked copy link. And we're going to go incognito or go to another browser. Just go somewhere else where you are not logged in because we need to test this link. So I'm clicking on my 3 dots to go incognito window because I'm using the Google Chrome browser. So in here, I paste that link. Now, before I do anything else, the ending, and I know it's impossible for you to read, but the ending here says edit USP equals sharing. I need to wipe that out. Take that off the end, and I'm going to change it for the word copy. Okay, so when I do that and hit enter or return on my keyboard, it's even detecting, and let's see if I have all my settings right, because I am needing to sign in. Let me go ahead and be someone else, because it recognizes this is a Google file. And voila. So you want to send the link that ends in copy to go out to your coworkers. And so it says, would you like to make a copy of introduce yourself? Oh yeah, I absolutely do. So I'm gonna send this to you guys in our chat. Not that it was a phenomenal form. I just want you to experience that same thing. When you click on a link, you do need to be logged into your Google account, and then you can get the copy screen. I'm not gonna make another copy for this person. I'm gonna just pause there. So I'm gonna clear all our responses and ask our group again. So maybe you have your participants panel closed, open that back up, and have we had anybody do this in the past? Have you? Did you already know that trick? Give me a yes. And if you, yep, give me no's. If you have never done that before, give me a no. Okay, so Jennifer Marr, Melissa Abrams, Michelle Morrow, Nicole Spencer. That's great that many of you already knew that trick. Many more no's. So I kind of started with the hard first and decided if you're not a Google form person, you haven't even been using forms, that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and click done to this form. And who else is a yes out there? Karina has done that. All right, sorry if I didn't call you out. And then we have a few people. So no answer from Paul or Neil or Elise. And again, you guys can use the chat if you're more comfortable with that, giving me a yes or no. Okay, no from a Neil and Elise. And a yes from Paul, okay. So let me clear those responses. So that was a form. I've given you a link to watch a video. The only slight difference is that the share screens have changed, but all the steps are exactly the same. If you have a form yourself, or here's the thing, you have a coworker who's knocking it out of the field on forms and you say, can you send me that? And now you know how to tell them to do it for you. So again, divide and conquer. So this time I have a document. And let's say nothing to do with classroom. I just want to share this document with somebody else. I want them to get their own copy. And so I have a right click. I'm going to right click over this title, and then I can just say, get a shareable link. Okay. So again, these are the share settings, look just like it did on a form, but I accessed it differently. This time I wanted to show you, you don't have to have a document or a slides file or a spreadsheet open. And keep in mind, these all work, these share settings are going to work and let you copy them if they're saved in your drive. So originally the setting is restricted. I've already changed this one to anyone with the link. So I've copied it. Got to do my testing. Don't forget that part. So I'm going to that incognito window to paste it. And same thing, edit question mark USP equals sharing. Wipe that out and put the word copy. So when I hit enter or return on my keyboard, I get that prompt. Really similar to the form. So in the chat, I'm going to give you guys this one. This is a fun one for you to click on. But you're kind of clicking blindly, right? So you don't know what you're getting. And that's okay if it's coming from a trusted source. But often, you know, if you hit a website, you find these really cool resources, you might feel a little unsettled about doing that. So I'm going to look for those of you who've gone to our chat and clicked on that link and have made a copy. I'm looking for your responses. Okay, so Caitlin's giving us a blah ha ha ha. And if you want to give me a thumbs up or an emoji in the chat, whatever you'd like. So for those of you who watch this recording at a later time, I'm going to include the link to this document with the copy link so you can go to the description and click on it. Okay, so we have one person that opened it. Okay, whew. Yeah, so Brooke has opened up this copy and Jennifer, looking good. All right, so I'm glad you guys are finding some humor in the document I've just shared. So I close my Incognito window because I'm done with copying that link. But if you don't like that feeling or giving your team the feeling of blindness, or maybe it's somebody who's outside. So I really didn't address those of you who are onlys, teachers who are, you're the one and only in your district. You might be networking and your personal learning network might be another teacher doing the same job but in another district. They might be in a different county. They might be some other state, hopefully Ohio, so things are lining up better for you. But if I would like to give that person a better sense, or if I'm posting these on my classroom website or a team website, there's another way to go about this. So I'm doing this again. The document's open this time. I'm clicking on that blue share button and I'm doing the link. If it was restricted, you need to make sure it's anyone with the link. Great. And I'm going to copy. So now that it's copied, I go to another browser, Firefox, Safari, whatever you'd like to do, or just go incognito if you can. If you're on a Chromebook and you might have limits if you're locked down. So I'm going to paste that link and take out the same ending, edit USP equals sharing, take it off, I delete. This time, you're gonna actually type template/preview, okay? So when I hit enter or return on my keyboard, this is what that other person will get instead. Now, what do you think of that? I feel a little more comfortable accepting something from a person when I can see what I'm getting. So if you're starting to build or someone else, you guys are all building and it's not within classroom, it's hosted someplace else, it's a website, then if somebody really wants this, then they can click use template. So I purposely chose this for our class here today because this is a document Shelley's made up, and it's a choice board because we're talking about trying to assess students when they're remotely. I heard about a lot of cheating going on. And so rather than multiple choices and for our foreign language teachers, you know, you guys might be thinking, okay, I need to get a wrap on this. We might be doing more project-based learning and using rubrics. So this is a choice board for students to choose what tool would they use for their project. And anybody who's studied or discussed the UDL style, Universal Design for Learning, that framework, then you might understand, all right, I don't have to know every one of these tools, but my kids can go learn it on their own and they can turn their project in and I can assess them still. So that is a different route to go. It's template/preview. You just do that instead at the end of your link. Okay, I want to pause again and ask if there are any questions out there. Okay, so how do you go incognito? Good question, Kendra. When you're in Chrome, At the top right, you will have 3 dots. Sometimes it's not the 3 dots though. If your Chrome browser needs an update or it's trying to get your attention, it might be orange or it might be yellow, but there should be a circle and the symbol might be more like a warning sign or an exclamation point. Nevertheless, the very top right corner, there should be a circle. When you click on it, your choices then at the top would be new tab, new window, new incognito window. And Firefox has it too, so does Internet Explorer or Edge. And it's just a way to do in private browsing. So that way it's not collecting your history. I use this all the time. If I wanted to look up airfares real fast and I don't need that part of my Google history, I will do things incognito. I'm doing it incognito on purpose because I want to be sure it's not detecting me being signed in. And I need to know that that link's going to work when somebody else is using another account or wasn't signed in. So I hope that helps you out, Kendra. On a Chromebook, like Vicki mentioned, she's on, it's probably the school Chromebook. Staff might be okay depending on their settings, but the Chromebooks might be set to not allow users to go incognito because we don't want students doing that. We don't want them searching and being a little bit off the grid or, hidden. Yeah, incognito means hidden. You can think of it that way. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, so let's make sure I catch everything in our agenda. The one thing I neglected to comment back on Google Classrooms was more for the folks who are the onlys. And you're at your school district, there's no one else like you. And you say, I can't share an entire bank with somebody. But you can at least benefit from some of the ideas of Google Classroom to save yourself time because you're probably teaching multiples of the same topic. So instead of possibly making a bank, or you could do a bank, you just take your whole last school year of things you've posted and you just go to the top right corner of a class and then you make a copy. And that way all the contents of it are going to be repeated. And let me see, I go ahead and copy this one. It'll let me retitle it and then I can discern which one is the original, which one is my copy. And what you'll see here, because this does take a little effort, I'll take some time, that it'll put all the materials that were already in there into draft mode. So then you can start releasing them. Still, it's going to take a little bit more time. And I believe I used my first grade bank. There we go. See it, and so I'm just speeding things up. This one I was using earlier, I had already copied. You see how everything is in draft? So, and Paul's asking, do you want to archive the bank classes or leave them open? You can archive them because it'll still let you repost from them, but it depends. So knowing that you're a middle school computer teacher, you're the one and only like you're not sharing it with other teachers. So yeah, go ahead and archive. Those who are a grade level bank, can't archive that. And it's a totally separate idea. So yeah, if you're an only and it's your last year class that everything was ran through, go ahead and archive. It is safe. And then you can draw materials from an archived class. And let me show you that. If I click create, reuse post, just for those upper level teachers who are going to conquer and you're not really dividing with another person, but you're dividing with yourself. When this pulls up, I'll show you archived classes should appear in my list. So we'll be patient. And can you add new content to an archived class? No, you cannot. So I know how your last school year might have been a little muddy. And if you're going to add materials, do it, but first be sure you unenroll all the students so they're not getting notices about you adding things, and don't archive. You could rename the class. Maybe the naming, you want to put a date on it, like the 2019-2020 year, something like that. So I apologize. This time, as I'm wanting to use the repost, it's kind of hanging up on me. So trust me, I'm sorry, I can't show that without that taking up too much time of our class, but then you could reuse. And then the last thing, topics don't get copied when, how do I say it? If you're just bringing over items, what somebody might choose to do is, here's a team bank, and this one's totally fresh. So what I might do is start making my topics. And this is another thought, how you can conquer. And I'm going to call this week 1. And just, this is a shell. And I'm doing this for the sole purpose that I'm going to teach this subject 5 times throughout my day. I'm going to have 5 Google Classrooms. I don't want to have to type my topics 5 times. So if I type them just once and get them built up, and you'll notice they enter in and they will organize on the left in the order I entered them. They don't get alphabetized or anything. So I'll just do 3 weeks to get started. I can drag and drop, move my topics so they're in the proper order. And now, if I am happy and I would like to go ahead and reuse topics, then I go to that and then I just make a copy. And all I'm getting is a copy of all my topics. So I did not have to type them 5 times. So you could plan to attack this several different ways, but that would be an idea on just repeating the topics. So Melissa, let's see. We're talking about something impressive for Melissa, so I'm going to have to go look at our pictures here. I might have missed something. Okay, so when she copies her class, it had so many files, it took overnight to run. The next morning, she got an email when it finally finished. Thanks, yeah. That's why I knew I already needed 1 copied there, because it takes time. And I do not have a big class. Okay, so she has strong internet and it still took overnight. Thanks for adding that, Melissa. That's good to know. Now, we're going to be wrapping up here with shared drives. And so some of you already did that. And if you wanted to pop out, I have invited all of you to a shared drive. So if you need to exit full screen, go ahead and head to your Google Drive to see this. So somebody viewing this at a later time won't be able to participate, because I'm not going to know who's watching until you file for credit. But shared drives is going to appear on the left, right below my drive. Now, I practiced this with a personal account. My personal account did not have shared drives at all. So when I invited my personal account, and then I accept that invitation, voila, shared drives appeared. So that was pretty cool. So I will say this for shared drives. The only thing that you cannot share out to, say, a group, and they don't, to a group that doesn't have Google accounts, and I'm thinking of the idea that maybe it's a committee you're on, but now you have a folder you want to share to parents. So your committee has been working in the shared drive, you have materials, and now you say, great, I have one folder I'm going to email to parents, or I'm going to post the link in my progress book, class information page. And if that's the case, you cannot share a folder out of shared drives. So I want to repeat that. You cannot share a folder to outsiders in shared drive. You can use single files. So if I had a one-off file, like a permission slip, and I had to send that to parents, that'll work, but a folder cannot. So the idea behind shared drives, we have a handout here. I want to drop the link to that handout in our chat so you guys have something more than just this brief encounter. And I'll have that in our video description as well. But a shared drive is the idea that no single person owns the file. So again, a team lead, or this is where I think more about my upper level teachers here, that you guys have networked and found another person who is teaching the same subject. So now you and that other person, different school districts, you can't use Google Classroom because your Google Classroom is probably locked down to just your domain, but you can go out to another school and share. And that's what I did with you guys. I invited you all. So if you've gone to shared drives, you should see a lunch and learn shared drive. So I was able to invite every one of you with your own Google account. And when I click on lunch and learn, I put a file in there. So quick access is just displaying the one file. And that's something else for you guys to take away from today. It's a more comprehensive handout. It's by Casey Bell. So she's the copyright owner of this document. And I do not own this file now that it's in the shared drive. It is owned by this Google domain. So think about that. If this is your one and only copy of this file, make sure that you're okay with it being here because you lose ownership of it. Now, if you were the person who put it in and you have permissions, then you should be able to make a copy, download it, withdraw it if you need to. But that's all going to depend on who is setting up the shared drive. So lunch and learn, what a person would do is click on the title, and then they can click Manage Members. Now, all of you are in here. I've given you almost the top level. Manager is the top, and our handout has little check boxes that'll describe what each role is allowed to do. You have Content Manager status, so you can add, edit, move, and delete files. So a lot of choices for you, but I could dial you down and just allow you to add and edit. And that means you could never delete my file and you couldn't delete something you put in there. So think of it for students. I think some teachers are looking for solutions like this, where it's kind of like a Dropbox. And you can make a shared drive with students if you're not using Google Classroom. But we're trying to divide our workload and conquer. So we want to work with teachers and get files from them, but know that you're going to likely want to keep your original where it is and have a second version of it go in here if you're a little nervous about that idea. So shared drives, you can do other really cool things. So if you've dropped something in there, you can email all the members. And I love that. So I could do one email and it's going to go to all 26 who are on this group. I like that feature. Also here, you can rename, change a theme, and you can search within it as well. So having a shared drive is a way for you to work with another person or a team of people, and your files, whether you leave the district or if somebody in that group has left the district, or maybe they moved grade levels and they wouldn't be working with you anymore, the files stay. They belong to your school Google domain. So I'm going to stop, see if we have any questions, because that does bring me to the tail end of our class. Okay, no questions. I'm sorry, from Michelle, how do you get that file in that shared drive? So if you want to put something in a shared drive, let me go back to that. Up here on the top left, just as if you were going into your own Google Drive, you have file upload or folder upload. Also, let's say here you were navigating. You were in your own Google Drive and you wanted to put something in there. And so I'm going to grab something, this PDF. So I want everybody to see this summer calendar. It's already in Google Drive, right? So how do I get it to shift into shared drives? So I can go, it's hard to tell, but if you guys can imagine an invisible line right where my mouse is going down the screen, these are really two panels, this side of the screen and the left side. So long as I leave the right side alone, I can change things here on the left. So I can click the arrow to the left of shared drives so I can see my lunch and learn, and then I can come to the right, drag and drop. I can do it that way. I can right click on a file and I can move it to, and then I can pick where it's going to go. So I can come back to my drive. If I even need to go higher up, then I go to shared drive and navigate into our lunch and learn. Okay. There we go. I hope that helps. And Alicia also added in the chat for Bonnie's question, how do I get the lunch and learn shared drive? Yeah, just click shared drive, Bonnie. I believe I invited you. Let me see if you're in our list. Yep, you're in our list. So you should have access. Now, we're at the tail end. I want to be sure that I get out some OER resources. That's the idea of people out there already doing things. And so Cube for Teachers, this is just the Twitter list. I haven't gone into this much, but it's basically a place for teachers to post resources, cubeforteachers.com. And InfoOhio has an open educational resource area. That's what OER stands for. So this is open space with InfoOhio. So you're that one and only teacher, you don't have a network of people, go to these open education resources and search them and find materials. And I like open space with InfoOhio because it lets you put these items into Google Classroom. So it plays well with Google. So I'm going to stop our recording here and send out our PD link and ask if we have any questions.